Imagine two brothers, same parents, same hometown, same job for 30 years. They retire on the same day. They both get the exact same Social Security benefit estimate. One of them files at 62, the other waits until 70. By age 85, one of them has collected over $140,000 more than the other. Here's the twist: it's not the one who waited. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand why the most repeated piece of retirement advice in America might be completely wrong for you. You've heard it 1,000 times. From your financial advisor, from the internet, probably from your brother-in-law at Thanksgiving. Wait as long as possible. Delay until 70. Don't leave money on the table. And look, that advice isn't wrong. For some people, it's absolutely correct. But here's what nobody tells you. 2/3 of Americans claim Social Security before their full retirement age. 2 out of every 3 people. Now, the financial media loves to frame this as a mass failure. Millions of people making the same terrible mistake because they just don't understand the math. But what if it's not a mistake? What if for a huge chunk of those people, filing early was the single smartest financial move they made? Today, we're going to find out. Let's get the math out of the way fast, because once you understand it, everything else clicks. If you were born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67. That's when you get 100% of your benefit. File at 62, the earliest possible, and you take a 30% permanent cut. A $4,000 monthly benefit becomes $2,800. Wait until 70 and you get a 24% bonus. That same $4,000 benefit becomes $5,200. So the spread between earliest and latest is over $2,400 every single month for the rest of your life. Pause. That sounds like the decision is obvious, right? Wait until 70. Done. But here's the question nobody asks. Obvious for whom? Because everything in that math assumes you're going to live long enough for the delayed strategy to actually pay off, and that assumption is where this gets interesting. If you claim at 62 instead of 70, the break-even point, the age where waiting finally comes out ahead, is somewhere around 80 to 81 years old. Meaning, if you die before 80, the person who claimed at 62 comes out ahead, sometimes by tens of thousands of dollars. The Social Security Administration actually designed the system this way deliberately. If you die at the average life expectancy, you collect roughly the same total lifetime benefit no matter when you filed. The decision isn't really about math. It's about you, your health, your family, your money, your life. And that's where the 7 reasons come in. Here's something that catches people completely off guard. Your spouse cannot collect spousal benefits until you file first. Full stop. Spousal benefits can be up to 50% of your full retirement benefit. For a lot of households, that's a significant second income stream, one that's just sitting there, locked, waiting for you to pull the trigger. Picture this. You're 62. Your spouse is also 62. They didn't work long enough to build up their own Social Security benefit. If you decide to wait until 70 to maximize your personal check, your spouse waits 8 years to see a single dollar of spousal income. 8 years, gone. Yes, your monthly check will be bigger at 70, but the household income picture? It might look very different when you add in what your spouse just lost. Sometimes the smartest individual decision is the worst family decision. Run the household numbers, not just yours. Nobody likes talking about this, but here it is. The average 62-year-old in America can expect to live about 22 more years. That puts the average life expectancy at around 84. Average, but you're not average. You're a specific person with a specific body and a specific family history. If your father had a heart attack at 68, if you've been managing a serious chronic condition for years, if 3 out of 4 people in your family tree were gone before 75, that's information. Real, actionable information. The break-even point for claiming at 62 versus 70 is around age 80. If there are real, honest reasons to think you won't make it there, then filing early isn't pessimism. It's math. You're not being morbid. You're being strategic. Social Security is, at its core, insurance. If your retirement is likely to be shorter, the insurance should pay out sooner. This is the most sophisticated reason on the list, and it almost never comes up in mainstream financial advice. When one spouse dies, the surviving spouse can switch to the deceased spouse's benefit if it's larger. It's called the survivor benefit, and it's based on what the deceased spouse was actually collecting at death. Now here's the strategy. Let's say your spouse has a higher earning history than you do, but they're dealing with a serious health condition. They're not expected to outlive you. You file early on your own, smaller record. You collect those checks while you're both alive. When your spouse passes away, you switch to their benefit, which is larger and covers you for the rest of your life. You've essentially drawn income from both records at different points in time instead of betting everything on optimizing one. This is a real strategy. Financial planners use it. It requires honest conversation between spouses about health and expectations, but for the right couple, it changes the entire retirement picture. This one surprises people. Why would someone with substantial retirement savings file Social Security early? Shouldn't they be the ones who can most afford to wait? Here's the logic. Your retirement portfolio is invested. It's compounding. Every dollar you pull from that portfolio to cover living expenses is a dollar that stops growing. But what if Social Security could cover some of those expenses instead? File at 62. Use the payments to fund part of your lifestyle. Pull less from your investments. Your portfolio keeps compounding for 8 more years with less interference. In the right scenario, the extra growth on your investments exceeds the benefit you would have gained from waiting on Social Security. There's another angle here too. Early in retirement, if the market crashes and you're forced to sell investments at a loss to cover expenses, that damage can be permanent. It's called sequence of returns risk, and it destroys retirement plans. Having Social Security as a baseline income reduces how much you have to sell during market downturns. It's a buffer. For certain investors, that buffer is worth more than the delayed credits. Some people take reason 4 one step further. They claim early, not because they need the income, but because they want to put those Social Security checks directly into the market. Think about it. Claim at 62 instead of 70, and you receive 8 additional years of payments. Smaller payments, yes, but money that can be invested and compounded. If you can generate returns of 7 to 8% annually on those invested payments, and you live long enough, the math can work in your favor, even against the guaranteed 8% annual delayed credits from waiting. Is this risky? Absolutely. Markets don't return 8% every year. Sometimes they lose 20% in a year. This isn't for the faint of heart. But for experienced investors who don't need the Social Security income anyway, who are simply choosing how to allocate capital, this is a legitimate calculation worth running. Here's a scenario. You're 62. You've stopped working. But in 3 years, a pension kicks in. Or maybe you bought a deferred annuity years ago that starts paying out at 67. Your future income is already taken care of. You've built the floor, you just haven't reached it yet. In this case, you don't need to maximize Social Security to create retirement stability. You've already done that with other tools. So what does Social Security become? A bridge. Income that covers the gap years from 62 until your other guaranteed income starts. You're not sacrificing a lifetime of bigger checks. You're solving a short-term income puzzle with a tool you've already paid into for decades. Sometimes the reason to file early is the simplest one of all. You can't work anymore. Maybe you spent 30 years in construction, manufacturing, or nursing, and by 62, your body is done. Knees gone, back broken down, chronic pain that makes a full day's work impossible. Or maybe it's not physical. Maybe you were laid off at 60, and despite months of searching, nobody will hire you at the salary you need. Age discrimination is illegal. It's also extremely common and nearly impossible to prove. Whatever the reason, if you genuinely cannot work and you don't have the savings to wait, Social Security exists exactly for this moment. It's a safety net. Using a safety net when you're falling isn't failure. It's the system working as designed. Don't let financial shame, the idea that filing early means you didn't plan well enough, stop you from collecting a benefit you spent your entire working life paying into. All right, fair is fair. Let's talk about when early filing is genuinely a mistake. If you're still working, especially earning more than $24,480 in 2026, do not file. For every $2 you earn above that limit, Social Security withholds $1 in benefits. You're taking a permanent 30% reduction and losing payments. It's the worst of both worlds. If Social Security is your only income or close to it, the math flips hard. The difference between $2,800 a month and $4,200 a month is the difference between surviving and living. Work as long as you can. Delay as long as you can. Every dollar of monthly benefit is precious. If you're healthy and your family has longevity parents in their 90s, says, no major chronic conditions, active lifestyle, statistically, you will likely outlive the break-even point. Waiting wins. 2/3 of Americans file for Social Security before full retirement age. Not because they're bad at math, not because they didn't read enough articles, but because their lives, their health, their families, their finances pointed them in that direction. There is no universally correct answer here. The Social Security Administration actually removed their break-even calculator from their website because too many people were making oversimplified decisions with it. The real calculation is too personal for a formula. So, here's what I want you to walk away with. First, log into your Social Security account and look at your actual benefit estimates at 62, 67, and 70. Know your real numbers. Second, be honest about your health. Not pessimistic honest. Your family history matters. Third, think about your household, not just yourself. What's the best outcome for both of you? Fourth, map your other income sources. Is Social Security your foundation or a complement to other things you've built? And fifth, if this decision feels overwhelming, a fee-only financial planner can run a detailed analysis of your specific situation. A few $100s of professional advice could mean tens of thousands in better lifetime income. The best financial decisions aren't the ones that look best on a spreadsheet. They're the ones that fit your actual life. Sometimes claiming at 62 is the mistake everyone says it is. And sometimes, for the right person, at the right time, it's the smartest thing you'll ever do. This isn't financial advice. Consult a professional who knows your situation, but whatever you decide, decide with information, not fear.